Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's matchup between New York Gridlock and Austin Torch. I'm Judy Jarvis here in the booth with my co-commentator James Kim, and we are coming to you from New York City. We're in Columbia University's Robert Kraft Field. Hello, James.
Hello, Judy. So we would like to take this time to share our land acknowledgement. New York Gridlock Ultimate recognizes the land on which we gather as the original and rightful territory of the Wappinger, Munsee, Lenape, and Scottikoke people. We embolden ourselves and our guests to dedicate our unwavering consciousness to examine the ways in which we have benefited from the ongoing tradition of colonization, racism, displacement, and exploitation. To learn more about the original stewards of this land, we encourage you to visit native-land.ca and learn more about the original stewards of the land and how to materially support them. We're honored to be here tonight. This is an important game with the Premier Ultimate League Championship weekend on the horizon later this month. Judy, tell us how that weekend will look.
Yes, so we have the standings here. So the 12 Premier Ultimate League teams are in 3 divisions, Midwest, South, and East. 3 teams have already punched their ticket and qualified for championship weekend, but there are 4 spots. So Minnesota Strike, Rally Radiance, DC Shadow, they're all in. But if you look at the bottom of your screen at the wild card, this is part of the excitement tonight. New York Gridlock is going for that wild card spot. And the importance of this game, so Torch is their opponent tonight. Torch is also playing Philadelphia Surge tomorrow. So the result of both this game and tomorrow's game are hugely important for determining the wild card.
That's going to be really interesting to see. Discraft. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. And here we are with the opening pull. Gridlock picks up. Nina Cartagena looking upfield. Finds Amy Joe to Jenny TeJesus. Back to Yina. Emily JT Barrett. Back to Nina Cartagena with a big swing all the way across to Nina Finley, number 96. Nina with an inside flick break that could not find TeJesus. Austin is going to have its first break chance of the game right here. Austin picking up. Dre Esparza on the disc. And then another inside turnover, 1 for each team so far. Douglas with a quick shot for the goal to Clavity.
Gridlock is feeling good about that turn of events. They almost gave Torch a big chance on the first point, but the O-line of Gridlock was able to get the disc back after an error from Torch for the goal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these two teams play in these conditions. When I was down on the field about 30, 45 minutes before this game, it looked like the wind was maybe around 20 miles per hour. It was something that coaches of New York Gridlock and Torch had both acknowledged as a factor in this game, and we'll have to see how they react to the conditions.
I think Halavity is someone we're going to be seeing in the end zone a lot, so who just scored the disc there, number 66. Janine Halavity, really strong cutter. And they have Gridlock's O-line is taken prisoners. They have just incredible stats. Just to give you an example, 2 of their receivers, TeJesus and Barrett, each contributed 6 goals in the last game. TeJesus had 2 assists and 4 goals. Barrett had 1 assist and 5 goals. So interested to see if they'll have a similar performance tonight.
Kara Sieber with the pull. Torch picks up a little bit for midfield. Looking open side. Oh, really close. Attempted a D there by, looks like, Tracy Lum. And a turnover by Austin. Back to New York. New York with their break chance. Call on the field. Looks like it might be a pick. Disc ready to be tapped back in. Lisa Kowalski on the disc, being marked by number 95, Megan Mendiet. Looks like the disc goes to Lisa Neves. Neves with the backhand around to Kowalski on that far sideline. Looks for an inside option. Called while the disc was in the air, most likely a pick. We'll see what that was.
And let's just give a shout out to our observers. In green, they are Chris Vanny, Dylan Bradford, and Sam Sampiro. So they are responding to, they're sort of passive observers, so they're called in if the players have a dispute that they want to bring an observer in to give their input. Otherwise, the observers are looking at travels, they're looking at in and out calls. And we thank them for their work tonight.
Ooh, Luisa Neves with the turn, backhand turn, although Austin gives it immediately back. Disc up to Kara Sieber, who unleashes a big backhand, unable to find its target. Looks like Torch is going to have almost the entire field to work up.
And you can see both teams here are looking to fast break. So when they get the turn, they're looking to move the disc as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, that's resulting in a good bit of turnovers even after they've gotten possession. So it'll be interesting to see if either team can clean it up and not rush the fast breaks.
Austin looking upfield here. Chooses to center the disc. Lefty inside high release backhand to a receiver. Oh, high disc. Discs like that will be in play all evening, perhaps with the wind. Looking for a reset here. Ooh, and Lisa Kowalski with the run through D. Luisa Neves does not hesitate to pick up the disc, looks downfield, decides better of it. Gridlock slowly moving it up. That disc is hanging up in the air, but Kara Sieber comes down with it. 2 yards short, and there is Tracy Lum with the score, 2-0.
That is a break for Gridlock after a many turn back and forth possession here, but an important early game break for Gridlock.
You know that those breaks are going to be really important in a game like this with the conditions, and you know that the coaching staff is happy to see that.
And here we're seeing the replay of Siebert's rip down the field for the turnover. Torch gets it back with a great save by number 2, but really well spotted run through D opportunity for Kowalski. Another big grab by Siebert into Lum for the goal. Gridlock had to work hard for that one, but they got it in. And so, James, you know, from the screen, you can't always see the wind, but when you were down on the field, when you were talking to coaches, what were they saying about the conditions? No rain, which is unusual for Gridlock, because I think almost all of their games have had some kind of rain. But what were the coaches telling you about the conditions tonight?
Absolutely. So the coaches of Gridlock acknowledged that it was blustery. They said that they expected a lot of turns here tonight, but they also said that their team would be resilient mentally and physically and ready to respond to whatever the game throws at them. Gridlock with the pull. Austin with their opportunity. A big backhand inside swing to Drea Esparza. And an incomplete backhand to the center of the field. New York with another break opportunity. Brittany Kaplan, number 2, to Aki Young on the far sideline. Aki looks for an option. That disc up for almost anyone. Wow, great grab by number 1, Anna Wisen. Back to Aki Young again. Brittany Kaplan with this disc on the far sideline. 2 is Sam Harris, and that is just a little bit too far.
What a great effort from Sam. Excellent layout, just unfortunately their feet were out of bounds.
Austin looking to put this disc in on this offensive opportunity. Disc on the sideline, tries what looked like it was a big hook, did not make it very far, but the receiver still coming down with it. And another big throw, this time perhaps for pay dirt. And the D there looks like there, no call on that. Big D by number, did not get the number of that defender, but we will get back to that. Incredible D on that.
We're seeing a lot of high discs in the air on this point, so it's really about what team is going to do better at getting in the air, boxing out their defender, and that was Nikki Hare, number 88, on the block. We want to give her full credit.
Inside throw to Becky Malinowski, who unfortunately turns the disc over. Torch looking to move it quickly, only a few yards from the end zone. We'll have to see how they do in this red zone opportunity. Dre Esparza with the reset. It looks like the Austin handlers are content to move it back and forth with themselves. Austin moving amongst the handlers yet again. Oh, an inside flip. Aki Young with the hand in there, able to get that D. Stassi Tankerlini looks for something, finds a flick over the stack and a big backhand. Looks like it would hang, but not nearly far or high enough for Gridlock. And Austin, again, will have to go nearly the full field.
Looks like Harris may be taking an injury here. And we have Nola Kim Meyer coming in to take their place. And this is the kind of wind where you can't be as precision. You know, things that are usually going to be 75% shots, you know, you're tipping the disc, you're doing outside ins, inside outs, and the blustery putt, they're going to go down in probability in this type of wind. So we'll see if the teams are going to adjust. I think we've already had maybe 3 or 4 turnovers thus far this point. So which team is going to adjust to this wind faster?
Absolutely. And just as we say that, looks like a D by Malinowski, but there's some discussion between her and number 13, Julia Schmaltz. Schmaltz, a player that the Gridlock coaching staff identified as one to look out for in this game. Observer rules, no foul on that. So, looks like a clean block for Malinowski. Brittany Kaplan, ready to pick up the disc, checks it in, looks for an option, decides to swing it towards the center of the field. Perhaps another call, as it looks like that defender, Gabby Quina, on Austin. And Wisen with the disc, being marked by number 5, Dre Esparza from Austin Torch. Wisen with the elevator backhand to Stassi Tankerlini. Ooh, oh wow. And that is Nola Kim Meyer, number 11, with the score.
Well, that's a great thing to do when you come in for an injury to go score. That's, you know, a fresh leg moment, but also just Kim Meyer has that level of athleticism where she's going to go hard for the disc. And that means 2 breaks for Gridlock. Let's see it again. Kaplan, oh, just a great effort by Harris. And it may have been that their injury was related to that layout. Aki Young getting another fantastic block, and Tangerlini in motion down the break side. Kim Meyer finishing it off. The Gridlock D-line's got to feel pretty good right now, James, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I absolutely would say that. This is exactly what you want as a D-line. This is exactly what the coaching staff, Ryan Thompson, Martha Gregory, John Reynolds would love to see. We'll see how the rest of this quarter turns out.
And the stakes are different for the 2 teams here, and so we may see that play out in how the points go. So New York is incredibly hungry for that wild card, so they are working as hard as they possibly can. And Torch may have different motivations here.
Yeah, so really interesting with Torch, their record 1-3. Many would say that probably does not accurately describe how they've done so far this season. With a turnover there, Lisa Kowalski to pick up the disc. So Torch, interestingly enough, has a +9 point differential over the course of the season, despite their 1-3 record. 2 of those losses coming on a single point, and one by 2 points in overtime, as Kara Sieber on the sideline looks for an option, finds Elisa Kowalski. Disc still on the near sideline. Still up that sideline, Kowalski and Sieber playing that two-person game for the score.
What a grab by Sieber there. And that was some bold offensive play. Gridlock was staying very close to the sideline where there'd been a number of turnovers throughout the beginning of the game. So we see Kowalski making eye contact, and the disc is low. Sieber doesn't mind. She's going to go get it.
Definitely a high level of difficulty, but these players are able to convert. You know, you hear sometimes in Ultimate that if there's high wind, that maybe it's a good idea to move the disc off the sideline, but Gridlock there just content to move it amongst themselves and put it in for the score.
And it's interesting what you're saying about Austin's record not necessarily reflecting their skill. And so since they don't have, they're not in the wild card contention, what I'm really interested to see is how they might play in a kind of loose and bold way when you don't have the pressure of, it's this, if you don't win this, you're out. Or it could be demotivating, you know, it could go kind of either direction. And so we have seen, you know, some of their turnovers seem to be connected to wind, but I also wonder, are they trying lower percentage throws? So we're only in the first quarter here, but seeing how that kind of mental game for Torch, when they have less on the line, that could go either way. Well, curious to see which way it tips.
Absolutely. Nina Finley, number 96, with the big pull downfield. Austin, about 6 yards out from their end zone, looking to move the disc upfield. Number 12, Annie Ortiz.
And it looks like Gridlock has their O-line out here. So they're really saying, with this line, we plan to get the turn and we plan to have our O-line get the break.
Austin moves the disc upfield. Swing. Ooh, makes the grab. Number 77, Carrie Yance. Upfield to 27, that's Sierra Jensen. Looks for an option. Ooh, that's a tough throw to try to attempt. Ina Cartagena picks up the disc to Janine Clavity. Tulsa Douglas looking for a backhand and then a forehand option. Nina Finley, was she in? Taps it in on the end zone line, looking for someone. And there she is, JT Barrett.
And the O-line did what they wanted to do in a deep possession. And something I love about Tulsa Douglas's rip there, I don't know if we can see that rip again, but she looked at the backhand first and thought, this might be a little bit too 50-50 to Finley. So here's Douglas, thought about it. No, I'm gonna give myself a better option with a counterflow huck here to Finley. So there were fewer defenders anticipating the forehand huck than the backhand huck, which would have been in flow. And then Finley, also a seasoned handler herself, just takes her time and knows Barrett's gonna get open.
Absolutely, it's incredible to see the skills of these throwers who have all the throws, can throw what they want, but in the flow of the game can feel that one might have a slightly higher probability of completion, makes that adjustment for the hockey assist for the goal. Gridlock here, ready to pull the disc. Kara Sieber again. Sieber with the pull. Hangs in the air for quite some time. The New York D-line able to get down there on the disc. Number 9, big backhand fake, Summer Wilson. Drea Esparza with the disc in power position. Thinks about the backhand, but decides not to throw it, and then goes back to it. Ooh, that's a tough throw to number 23, Rachel Yeager.
I'm interested that Torch is not often cutting into the deep space, so they're really looking to use the width of the field, throw to in cuts. I think it might be time to change the formula a little bit, and it might be a whale it to the end zone type of moment. They need to get a score on the board, and they might have a chance here.
Esparza with the quick trigger, but that receiver, unfortunately, just not there for that.
Esparza, thanks for taking my tip, though, you know, to do the huck.
Anna Wisen looks for an opportunity. Chooses Brittany Kaplan, who cannot bring that disc in. Looks like the best opportunity for Torch so far, and Drea Esparza with the assist.
That is huge for Torch, getting their first point on the board. So Brianna Stedman reels in the score after an error on the red zone line by Gridlock.
Judy, how do you think Torch feels after putting that goal in?
This is very important. Once you start getting past, 5-0, you just start to feel really deflated. So Esparza with the quick throw to Stedman here is very important for the morale of this Austin team to sort of make a statement to themselves. We're in this game. We can get back in this game. We didn't come all the way to New York City to get bageled.
Absolutely. And this Torch team, as Judy had mentioned earlier in the cast, right after this game has to turn around and head down to Philadelphia for their game tomorrow. It's going to be a quick turnaround for them in an early game tomorrow, but their East Coast swing, it'll be exciting to see how they do.
And we have the Gridlock O-line back out here for an O-point.
Schmaltz with that pull. Backhand pull lands around the 36-yard line. Douglas moves it up to Yina, to DeJesus on the near sideline. Wants to throw it to Amy Zhao, could not, and it looked like a clean block.
Unusual hand block on Yina Cartagena. That's something you write home about. Hand blocking Yina Cartagena is maybe one of the hardest things to do as a defender.
Absolutely. Elise Bjork with the disc on the close sideline, looking for an option. And it sounds like there's a call. We hear a whistle from the observer. Everyone looking around for what it is. Downfield players, not so sure.
It looked like the T. It might be a timeout here.
Classic sideline timeout.
And the importance of the timeout in the Premier Ultimate League is you can put in a totally new roster. So this is likely a move by Austin Torch to get offensive folks in or just to work on the offensive strategy with the group they have in. We also could see Gridlock change their personnel or not because they've been playing their O-line as well. So we'll see what comes out of here, but this is important for Torch. If they were to take a break here, they actually might be able to get back in the game. Otherwise, it's only going to be, possession scores. That's going to be very hard for Austin to catch up.
So New York Gridlock operates on funding from private sources, branding, and market sponsorships. We're grateful for all the support we continue to receive. We welcome all donations. No amount is too small, and every donation is appreciated. Venmo at New York-Gridlock.
And supporting Gridlock and the other Premier Ultimate League teams is so important. This is a new burgeoning league. It's just 5 years old, and in fact, 5 years ago this weekend, these two teams met in New York in the first season of the PUL. So to have them back here, the league has now grown to 12 teams. It's very exciting. And speaking of exciting, we have a turnover and Gridlock possession.
Looks like Gridlock might have the last opportunity to put a score in before the end of this quarter. Cartagena looking for something. We hear a buzzer, but there might have been a disparity with the clock.
It's what it means with when we're at 0, the team has this last possession. So if Gridlock scores, the quarter's over. If they turn it, the quarter's also over.
That's right. And it looks like a call before the disc to Nina Finley from Cartagena.
I always really like this mental challenge. So I know, James, you and I are both coaches. I love the mental challenge of the clock is over. You must keep possession. Because this is unusual in club, in other leagues, you'll have, it's just back and forth until there's a time cap of the entire game. Points can go on as long as there's turnovers back and forth. So how does a team focus and know that it has to be 100% completions and not throw up those 50-50 balls?
Absolutely. It's a task that oftentimes us coaches will preach to our players, take care of the disc, 100% possession. This is that situation for Gridlock. Douglas with the disc being tapped in. Looks for the inside, goes for the around to Zhao. Looking for an option. Perhaps Douglas. Douglas is his defender, 77, down on the ground to Cartagena. Just a few yards away. Douglas with the score.
And Gridlock making sure they score before the end of the first quarter. Score is 6-1 Gridlock, starting a decisive quarter here. And this is exactly what Gridlock needs to do and wants to do. James, what was standing out to you about this first quarter?
Yeah, so it looked like Gridlock was able to do a great job of moving the disc with these conditions and the wind. They were able to convert these opportunities. And Torch just unfortunately not able to do the same, although they did. Douglas with a great grab there for the score and the end of the quarter.
And we're headed to a break. We'll be back for the second quarter.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
This broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League. Back to the second quarter here at Columbia. What were your thoughts on the first quarter, Judy?
Well, Gridlock is, dancing a little bit there in the huddle. They have to be feeling really good about how they came out. Their defense, even where there were points where there were multiple turnovers, 1 for each team, 2 for each team, 3 for each team, they still were able to take command of the disc and make sure they finish in their end zone. I think they're doing an incredible job of just making space on the cuts. They seem to be, the Austin defense is not making a huge impact. A lot of the turns are floaty discs or miscues, or it's too low to the ground. And so it's really important for Torch here is to start putting more pressure on Gridlock so they don't feel too comfortable here before their home crowd. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, so I'm seeing that the Torch, it looks like, was having some execution errors perhaps during that first quarter with these conditions. Pretty windy down there on the sideline. Perhaps not able to execute at the level that they expect, but these players have all the fundamentals to play in all sorts of conditions, and you can imagine that they will appreciate this opportunity to get back to it.
All right, and we have Torch with an offensive try here, starting off the second quarter.
Becky Malinowski with the right to left pull, rolls and is stopped at around the 31-yard line. Centered to 95, Megan Mendieta.
And we're seeing a little bit of a junk defense by Gridlock. So they have 2 folks up at the disc and made it happen. So 88 is wearing Hare's jersey, but is Sydney Harris. So I want to give her full credit for that great block, and Malinowski for the score.
That's a great score. You've got to imagine that that's exactly what the Gridlock coaching staff wanted by throwing out that defense to start off the quarter, perhaps give Torch a look that they weren't used to, get that short field turnover, and put it in for another score.
Oh, I really want to see this one again. Here comes Sydney Harris. Yes! So Sydney can just read the disc is coming her way, accelerates for the run through, centers it to a handler who hucks it downfield to Malinowski. So excellent team defense and then fast break offense. giving Harris a high five that she's due. But that is not what Torch wants. Torch is now need to adjust. So if that junk defense is coming again, Torch needs to figure out. Again, I'm still a big fan of boost it and get some space on the field for yourself. They both, Torch in the first quarter, were struggling with some of the swings just to reset even on person, and now those swings are going to become even harder with this junk defense. So I'm sure the coaches are giving instruction about how to try to get through, the captain's thinking through. So again, it's hard to see on the broadcast, but the wind is having a little bit of an impact, and that's partly why the Gridlock junk D was so effective right there.
Absolutely, Judy. Torch with the big backhand inside hook. Malinowski's so close, but it is a goal for Austin Torch, their second of the night.
Schmaltz gets by Malinowski, and that's a great matchup, by the way. Schmaltz and Malinowski, both experienced players, played in women's club and match up against each other all year long. Let's see that movement again. A backhand rip. Malinowski thought she had it, was looking for the tap, but Schmaltz read it well, came down, and put another one on the board for Austin Torch. Oh, Malinowski's going to be rewatching that tape right there. Becky, we say, great effort, and Schmaltz just read it better that time.
Every player can relate to being in that situation, but that a player of Malinowski's caliber is going to come back stronger than ever.
And Schmaltz stays on the field. Be feeling some of that adrenaline. Looking to break. Our score is 2 Austin Torch, 7 New York Gridlock in the second quarter. We'll see if Torch can mount a comeback here.
Schmaltz with the backhand pull. That is going to get some good air time. Tulsa Douglas, the first one to the disc. Upfield to Yina Cartagena. Looks like an interesting D there, and just an execution error perhaps.
But yes, Torch had a junk of their own.
Torch with the swing to the near sideline. Moves it up to 29, Megan Rutledge. Rutledge with the inside break. Torch now moving it upfield. Annie Ortiz with the disc being marked by JT Barrett. Oh, and that throw just straight to Yina Cartagena.
Cartagena was waiting for that one, but an unfortunate slip, and Torch has it right on their end zone line.
You can see the Torch players waving their hands down to tell each other to just calm down a little bit. Disc just right on the doorstep here. Flick to an open Julia Schmaltz.
And that is a break for Austin Torch, and that point showed us what Torch can do. Just really smart movement of the disc.
Absolutely. You will see both teams will have their opportunities in these conditions, and it will be a matter of who takes advantage of them the most. Here we see Cartagena with just sort of an uncharacteristic backhand turnover to Tulsa Douglas, and another one right there to DeJesus. Austin able to put it in on this point.
And Schmaltz bringing it, saying, oh, no. We're not just here for show. We're not just here so the Gridlock home crowd can get all fired up. Austin Torch has something to say, and there's a lot of skill on the team. So I'm ready for a fired up Schmaltz to keep going out there and pushing the pace. And for Torch, I mean, it's really the difference of just getting a few more throws made each point. Then we're talking about a comeback is possible. They just showed right there that they can break, that they can take on Gridlock's offense. And a rolling pull to start this point.
Douglas right to check it in on the far sideline. Does so to Cartagena. Being marked by Joya Esparza. Moves it to Janine Clavity. To Emily Barrett. Looking for an option, looking for a reset with a backhand reset upfield to Nina Finley. Travel called on that, walks it back immediately, checks it back in. And another look up the same third of the field. Nina Cartagena without a player within yards.
What a beautiful huck. That was Halavati to Cartagena. You usually see it flip the other way where Cartagena's usually putting down the hucks, but Gridlock has got a lot of skill on their squad. And let's see that again. Finley to Vlada. Vladi into Cartagena, and what a beautiful float there. Even in the side of the field that's harder, we'll see it again here. Just such great touch on that forehand huck. That's been a place where we've seen a lot of turnovers in the game, but just an excellent, excellent huck. Cartagena, so in the last game, she had 6 assists and 3 goals. So when you're a defender marking up on Cartagena, you have to know she can go anywhere on the field. She can be dangerous anywhere on the field. She's not a handler who's afraid of anything. You know, she's going to strike up the field. She's going to be in the end zone. She's going to keep you on your toes. What are you liking about the Gridlock offense right now, James?
I'm liking that they are continuing to take shots. They are not trying to play disadvantage and run out the clock. This Gridlock team is very much trying to. Looks like some sort of call, perhaps an offsides on that pull. Torch walking the disc up several yards.
Oh, you get punished if you're offsides as the team pulling it. So Torch gets some additional advantage on the field. And we see the junk back, and it was effective again. So Gridlock just really putting some pressure on the handlers and again forcing Torch to turn it over after just a couple passes.
And Wisen to the Brittany Kaplan, number 2, on the far sideline. Open side to Abby Cheng, number 3. Backhand into space, unfortunately just a little bit too far. Austin with a chance, perhaps a fast break, but decides to set up their offense. Ooh, number 9 throws it directly to Brittany Kaplan as if it was to her intentionally. Abby Cheng with the disc. Back to Brittany Kaplan on the near sideline. Looking for options. Wisen with the inside flick break to Stasi Tankerlini, who unleashes a big throw to Kara Sieber, and there it is. What a goal.
So pretty. Tagliani is known for just gorgeous rainbows of hucks that can slice in all different directions. And you can even see her make decisions about, I'm going to throw this. Which way do I want to throw this? There's just so much in her toolbox. You could see her this way, that way. How about this just beautiful slice that goes over the defender? The Austin defender went up at the right time, but Tangerlini's placement was just so good that Sieber just had to hop a little bit to get it.
As a receiver, those are the kinds of throws that you dream of, the ones that just come right into your breadbasket. All you have to do is put your hands up, make sure you don't drop it. We want to take this time to recognize and thank New York Gridlock community sponsor, Dennis Murphy, Coldwell Banker Realty. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest, Dennis Murphy has the experience and knowledge to help you navigate the New Jersey market. Call, text, or DM today. As a New York Gridlock community sponsor, Dennis looks forward to providing the youth players of the New York, New Jersey area an opportunity to learn the best skills, drills, and mindset from these amazing Gridlock players. Pull rolling down the field.
Oh no!
Oh, what a turn upfield. Torch will take that any day. Torch a little bit further than half field with that fortuitous roll.
Gridlock's got the junk on, but Austin's been able to get a couple throws through. Oh!
What a great run through D there.
Sydney Harris again has had a few clutch defensive plays tonight, having an excellent game.
Kowalski looking for an option. decides to fake that receiver under to Tracy Lum, number 64. Stoppage on the play there. Looks like Malinowski is working on their equipment. Might be something else going on.
Just hope it's a cleat that's fallen off and not an ankle. Okay, looks like cleat related with a smile from Malinowski. We feel good about it.
Lum looking upfield, being marked on the forehand side.
Oh, yes.
Another run through D. Austin Torch looking to perhaps fast break here.
Was that Schmaltz, number 13?
Stoppage there before the disc went up.
That was Schmaltz with the run through D. So Schmaltz is bringing it and has given her team a chance for a score here.
Schmaltz on that under, looking for something on the open side. To her teammate Mindy, number 8, Radike. Big throw across the field, hung up just a little bit too far. Nola Kim Meyer able to get to it first.
Speaking of defensive excellence, Nola Kim Meyer and Sydney Harris, two really fantastic D players.
Ooh, and it looks like Gridlock just had so much space trying to push that, and unfortunately the Torch defender able to get there. Torch now here moving almost the entirety up the field to the far sideline, looking for an option. Big throw, blade, a little bit of contact after that.
That's Harris again. We're going to be saying her name a lot, it seems like. Just really excellent at reading the disc, boxing out at the correct time. But an unfortunate turnover for Torch to get another possession.
Yeah, and Judy, as I was talking with the New York Gridlock coaching staff on the field before the game, they acknowledged that with these conditions, Schmaltz with an inside flick for the goal. And the kick spike.
Yeah, if I were on Austin, I would be like, here we go. We need to, this team, Gridlock has counted us out. And let's talk a little bit about Julia Schmaltz, number 13, who has just brought it with both the defense and the offense. So first we see a rip to her in the end zone that she just read so beautifully, but that's not all she can do.
Schmaltz has been pulling the disc, scoring the goals, just all over the field. Run through D there on Nola Kim Meyer, and it there finds the timing on the inside cut for the score, and another kick spike.
Schmaltz is just a storied player in the women's division of club. Has played for many Austin teams for years and has, the combination of height, speed, fire that you really need to have in a, complete player. And you can definitely see just in the way that she's playing right now, it's Schmaltz time. It's takeover time. And sometimes you need that as a team when you're kind of in a lull, a lot's not going your way. You need a player to just bring the fire so the rest of the team can rally around that. And let's see if Schmaltz is able to do that. Let's see if Torch can get this break. That is a turning point in the game.
Cartagena with the backhand flip to Tulsa Douglas, who gives the disc right back. Looks like this Austin defense, perhaps an attempt at a D there, but Gridlock able to move it up on the far sideline. Players unmarked there, and JT Barrett for the score.
Oh my, so Torch trying something different, doing some switches on defense, but it has no effect on the Gridlock offense, who are able to just move it down the field like warm knife and butter. Is that fair, James?
Might be. Judy, and so with that new defense, what from a coaching perspective, why might a team want to throw out something other than what the other team has seen so far? What might be the benefit there?
Yeah, so Torch has done a ton of person, and it just hasn't worked, right? So Gridlock's been able to accelerate past their defenders pretty easily. I was curious about the junk they put in for just a point. If I were coaching right now, I would probably bring that back because it seemed to disrupt the Gridlock flow. What they tried just there looked like some handler switches to try to slow down the pace, but unfortunately they didn't have the wing covered very well, so we saw number 3 Emily Barrett able to get the disc wide and then ping pong the disc all the way down the field with her teammates to get the score. So Gridlock is dangerous when they're unmarked. They have downfield cutters who have really strong throws. So it's not like, some teams where you have the handlers have all the disc skills and it's all concentrated there. Gridlock, once you break through, their receivers are going to huck it too.
They absolutely are. Torch on the far sideline with a flick into space on the end zone line. Torch, really wants this, and oh wow, that disc just hanging up there a little bit too far. Looks like there's going to be a discussion between Wyson and number 69, Jamie Estes.
Yes, it looks like a foul called here, and so the players have decided, one of the players has decided to engage an observer, and so then the observer gives their read on the situation, and it is a confirmed foul.
Austin on the end zone line. Swings the disc to the middle of the field to make a little bit more space. 69. Estes with the dish to the forehand side. Back to Estes. Austin moving this disc side to side, and there it is for a score.
All right, Torch putting another one on the board there, despite some very good Gridlock end zone defense. That took many, many throws. Austin Torch started that right after the foul call right on the lip of the end zone, but couldn't complete it in one pass. I think it took probably 7 passes, so kudos to Gridlock defense, but heck yeah. Oh, so that was the foul there. Torch moving it back and forth, and finally found the opening there for the score. And that was a great point for Torch, making sure that they had that patience on the end zone line. They've had a few turns in that red zone area throughout the game, so that was a really important possession for the team to show themselves, we can do this. If we're on the lip of the end zone, we can get this in. If it's going to take 1 pass, if it's going to take 7 passes, just showing a really patient team coming out. And now they're looking for a break. Schmaltz with the disc to start the point here.
Another left to right pull here from Schmaltz. Disc will hang up in the air for a while, reaches the 47 of Gridlock's side of the field. Cartagena with the big backhand fake, turning her body almost entirely backwards on that fake. Looking for an option inside, finds Amy Zhao, number 12. Zhao airs it out to her receiver, 33, but the Torch defender able to get there in time.
Way to get a hand in there, Stedman, and picks up the disc.
Stedman with the inside flick to Esparza. Flick to the near sideline to Younes. Younes being marked by Jenny DeJesus, and Nina Finley there with the long arm, able to grab that D out of the air. Douglas to Cartagena. Back to Amy Zhou. To JT Barrett. To Janine Clavati.
What a grab by Havlavity. That was awesome. That could have easily, you could easily tip it or just not get a hand on it. But just the athleticism of Havlavity this game, she has had an incredible game. And what a possession for Gridlock. Joe puts up the huck, but it is well read by Stedman, who gets the D. but Joe gets another chance to do the hockey assist to Barrett and then to Vladi. What a point.
Seems like every single time Torch is able to get something going, Gridlock just able to execute a little bit more, several more times, able to score on that point.
So James, if you're coaching Austin Torch here, are you feeling demoralized? Are you feeling hungry? Are you feeling, what do you think the feelings are on the coaching squad right now?
Well, as the coaching staff, of course, you're going to try to stay up the entire time, and you're just going to try to remind your players that there have been flashes, there have been great points, there have been great sequences, and those are exactly the things that you want to reinforce to your players, that there have been opportunities, it's just a matter of how to make the most of them. That pull rolling back upfield looked like Torches wouldn't have a close field opportunity.
Oh, that hurts. You have this huge advantage getting the disc at about a third of the field, close to your end zone, and an unfortunate turn, another unfortunate turn. I think we're seeing the wind getting back in this game here, James.
Absolutely. That's the kind of underneath catch that you know that Tracy Lum would convert in any other situation. Luisa Neves with the run through D, back to Gridlock. Call on the field. Looks like a timeout is called.
I could see it looks like a Gridlock timeout. I could see wanting to recalibrate with the weather conditions. You could see the jerseys fluttering a little bit, seeing that maybe the wind is kicking up a little bit more here. But some of the, clean, easy swings are not as clean and easy right now on either team.
We just want to take this moment here to thank Kate's Real Food. At Kate's Real Food, they keep it simple, sourcing only the best ingredients to create impossibly good, incredibly shareable snacks that focus on great taste and texture. Check them out at katesrealfood.com. Always organic, always real.
The teams are figuring out their game plan. So Gridlock's got to go almost the whole length of the field to get this break.
Minutes to go in this first half. Stasi Tankerlini ready to pick up the disc. Tankerlini looking for an option. Looks quickly back to the sideline. Finds Luisa Neves, who looks for Lisa Kowalski. Finds number 83, Zoe Hechtenstead, to Renata Pepe. Pepe back to Luisa Neves. Looks like this Gridlock stack is pretty far downfield. Neves finds number 6, Pepe, on a big underneath cut. Call on the field by the Torch.
Looks like defenders making a switch. Had a pick there. And Torch is forcing Gridlock to really use the whole width of the field. They've had some excellent defense in this point.
Pepe with the disc, check back in. Finds Kowalski, and the curl reset behind her. Kowalski unleashes that backhand. Not the intended target, but Luisa Neves will pick that up. Pepe to the break side, and 83 puts it in for the score.
Oh, that was a sneaky, sneaky score where the disc was coming down with the wind. There wasn't enough float to go over the Austin defender, but Neves was able to read it really well. Torch didn't see it. Let's see it again from Kowalski. Puts it up, and the Torch defender was face guarding, so didn't see Neves. And with a few more quick passes, it's into Zoe Heck for a break for Gridlock. I think we're really seeing the impact here. There's quite a lot of huckers on Gridlock, but the fact that nobody threw a big huck in that point and after that timeout is indicating to me that the coaches, the players are feeling like Hucks right now might be lower percentage. You know, a long distance huck might not be what is needed. So you see the team stretching in different ways then. So figuring out, let's use the width of the field, back and forth, back and forth. Kowalski, though, couldn't help herself, you know, loves to rip that forehand huck, and respect. I am a big fan of the forehand huck, number one favorite throw. But it didn't go farther enough. Nevertheless, Nevis made sure Gridlock was going to score that point.
Sam Harris with a big right to left pull that reaches almost the opposite end zone. Torch with this disc on offense with less than 2 minutes to have. You know the Torch team would love to put this disc in. Oh, and just unable to bring that disc in. Brittany Kaplan, number 2, picks it up off the turn to Stasi Tankerlini on the far sideline, who does not hesitate. Wow, and finds the open hand of Nikki Hare, 88.
And again, we're back to talk about Tangerlini and her just fantastic hucks. Just knowing she could just place it for Hare, get that score in stride. What a point. We'll see it again. Kaplan with the disc, swinging out to Wisen. Setting up Tangerlini, who rockets it right away. And number 23, Rachel Yeager, was close to that disc, but similar to the other point where Malinowski couldn't get it before Schmaltz read it well. We had another just out of reach of the defender. Tangerlini getting a hug, a well-deserved hug from her teammates on the far side of the field. And Gridlock is liking this 13-5 score.
Absolutely. You got to imagine that coaching staff, the players on the field are happy with where they are. Of course, Ultimate is a game of runs, and we've seen lots of situations in the past where leads this big or even larger have dissipated in a flash, and so you know you'll see the Gridlock coaching staff trying to keep their team focused. Torch picks up the disc around midfield. Gridlock defense entirely clamped down, almost nothing there. Looks like a call on that throw. One minute and 22 seconds remaining in this first half. Aki Young there, and almost able to get that D on that disc hanging above her head. Number 69, Jamie Estes, able to reel it in. Torch with about a minute left to put this disc in. Able to find a different target, 69, Estes to Lou, and great grab by Bjork. And upside down to who else but Julia Schmaltz.
Oh, that was a sassy hammer. Torch is not going out quietly. You know, they are saying, hey, we got tools in our toolbox. We are happy to show you a variety of throws. We are happy to push the pace. With a great grab by number 2, Elise Bjork decides that hammer is what's needed, and Schmaltz is able to box out her defender. Look at that's a pretty far hammer throw. 30 yards, 35 yards to Schmaltz. Schmaltz just doing a great job of boxing out her defender.
Absolutely, and you saw that Schmaltz there was right in front of her defender, was able to, as you say, box out. And so in that situation, the thrower knows that they just need to get it to that receiver as directly and quickly as possible. And in that situation, that is via an upside down hammer throw, finds her receiver for the goal.
You know, so many people learn the game of Ultimate in college, you know, maybe increasingly in high school. And James, you coach a lot of youth, but that just looked like pure basketball to me. So basketball is one of those sports that translates so well. Being able to be highly aware of where the person you're guarding is and block them with your body. I mean, Malinowski is an incredible defender. And so if Schmaltz hadn't had good position there, it could have easily been a turn. But I'll put my money on she was a high school basketball player.
Wow, inside throw by Amy Zhao. Unable to get there is JT Barrett. It looked like a fantastic throw out into space with a high degree of difficulty, but Austin Torch looks like it might have the disc to end this half. Only seconds remaining.
We're at the buzzer, which means this is the final possession. So either Torch scores it or it's a turnover. Either way, it's the end of the point. It looks like we have a timeout called, I think, from Torch. But that makes good sense because Torch needs to move it the entire length of the field. And they want this point.
They absolutely do. Even though being down 13-7 or 13-6 may not seem like a big deal, you know that this team, this coaching staff is trying to build on every single point, one at a time.
Let's take a look at the turn, what happened right before this. So we have a big puck that's just out of reach for Barrett. Looked like it was just not floating quite enough. And you know all our highlights reels have people leaping and flying through the air, but also as a receiver you have to know when you lay out and when you don't. So Barrett deciding there's too much pace, it might have been too hard to lay out there, and that gave Torch the disc and one more shot.
And Joe, with that decision to throw that inside flick, of course a really high level of difficulty on that. You know she has that throw, but ultimate is also a sport of execution. So Austin, after that timeout, has talked about it, is ready to move up the entire length of the field before heading into halftime.
And like we were talking about earlier, James, this is, you know, coach's dream where you have to be patient but be bold. You're going to have to throw a lot of passes here. You're going to have to be high percentage. And this is a good challenge for Torch. Oh!
Wow, an incredible D there by Amy Zhou. Looked like that was all her. Just able to leave her feet and say that, you know what, that's enough. Let's go to halftime.
Zhou's revenge. She said, look, if I can't get the score, I'm at least going to get the D. And that's the kind of player that Zhou is. What a great half for New York Gridlock. The score is 13-6. And we'll show you a little. What an incredible layout D from Zhou. Let's see it again. Please, oh please. Yes! Only a few fingers on it. Sacrifices her body to get that important block. And we are
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Hello, everyone. It's Judy Jarvis and James Kim up in the booth, and we are joined by Premier Ultimate League Commissioner Amanda Dallas. We are glad you're here. You joined the PUL as commissioner this March, so tell us, Amanda, how has it been leading the PUL thus far?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great experience. It's been a whirlwind. I did start right as the season was kicking off, so there was a bit of a learning curve, but Bonesaw was great and helped me on board. It's just been a wonderful experience. I've enjoyed everyone I've met so far. It's been great, being involved in another niche sport, especially one that emphasizes women and non-binary athletes.
And Amanda, as we approach the end of this regular season, what are you most excited about for championship weekend in DC?
So this is my first Ultimate match today, and I will obviously be at Championship Weekend, so I am excited to see these teams that I haven't seen play in person. I'm also very excited to meet the owners and other athletes and just experience the atmosphere of an Ultimate Championship.
That is awesome. I didn't know this was your first Ultimate game, so obviously you have all the skills to be commissioner. What stands out to you about the games? Is there a rule? Is there something that just seems bizarre? Love to hear your thoughts.
So I play another niche sport called quad ball, and it is full contact, mixed gender. Very different atmosphere. This is definitely, Ultimate is intense, but when you are hitting each other full force, it's a little bit more heated, a little bit more taunting, a lot more back and forth. So I would say what stands out the most is just, it's a lot calmer atmosphere overall, and the players mingling on the sidelines. That's something I was actually just having a discussion with Bonesaw and Hogue about. It's so nice to see, and it's definitely something that's very unique and different.
That's cool. So what I'm hearing, though, is you would like to increase the level of trash talking in Ultimate. Is that what I'm hearing implied here? Because I support that. I love a good friendly trash talk. But I think you're pointing out something important, that there is this kind of camaraderie. There's also the athletes on the field tonight. Many of them play against each other basically all year long in different clubs. But so, you came into this league. You're passionate about this. Why are you passionate particularly about leading a women's and non-binary sports league?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I play in a mixed gender sports league, and one of the reasons I played was because it was a unique situation where it was full contact and it had all genders competing. And one of the things that we experience there oftentimes is it is still male dominated, and a lot of times women and non-binary athletes sort of get pushed to the side, or certain teams just don't know how to train them, don't know how to let them shine. And what's really exciting is a league like Premier Ultimate League allows those individuals to stand out and to be the stars that they deserve to be.
Fantastic. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for your time today. Hope you're able to enjoy the rest of your first Ultimate game here, and we will get ready for the second half. This is also my first time commenting.
Hi, my name is Emma Soilis. I'm number 8 for Philadelphia Surge, and I'm cutter D-line.
I'm Jenny DeJesus. I'm on New York Gridlock. I'm a cutter.
So I'm trans, and we have like a trans Ultimate Player Discord group, and after the PDGA announcement that they were banning trans women from participating, we kind of got together and decided to write an open letter to USAU and basically say, hey, please don't do this. This is really harmful for lots of reasons, and you can read our open letter. It's out there on the internet. Julie and Eileen reached out to me and asked if we want to do some sort of fundraiser for our home opener. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. So yeah, we kind of hopped on board, contacted VC Ultimate, who very generously donated some wristbands and really helped us with sort of getting everything together. And then Jenny reached out and we sort of coordinated between the two teams. And yeah, it's been really cool. All of our donations are going to Galilei, which is a local nonprofit organization within Philadelphia that supports queer and trans people of color within Philadelphia. Yeah.
I feel like I'm just here to nod because I cannot stress enough how much of this was born from Emma. Truly and honestly born from Emma. Even on Thursday night, Gridlock had a workshop inspired by the work that Emma initiated with all of these orgs. And yeah, we've been talking back and forth. There's going to be a photo op, there's wristbands, there's some discs, and then yeah, supporting Galilei, who helps acknowledge intersectionality between identities, as Emma was saying. But yeah.
The reasons we chose Galilei was we really wanted an organization that didn't just support trans people, but had like more of an intersectional perspective and focus. Why not? That's a great question. Part of this was spurred on because of the PDGA decision, but also I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news, but there's like hundreds of anti-trans bills being passed in state legislatures across the country. And it's just a really intense time to be trans, to be a minority in America. And so we just felt the need to be very vocal in public and proud of like who we are as people.
I think the teams already have some connections just due to what some 2021 rosters look like. But I think that this gave us a reason to communicate in ways that we probably wouldn't have communicated without fundraising for this. Like, I probably wouldn't have talked to Emma leading up to this game. People wouldn't have reached out to other people. People wouldn't, yeah, I think that this is kind of what made this more of a community event, if anything.
I think Frisbee to me is like all about community. I got into it because of community, and like I'm still here because I love the community and like want to help develop that and really like bridge gaps, I guess. And it's just such a privilege to be here playing and representing Philadelphia. Yeah.
And New York. Is that where it cuts?
That's perfect. And we are back here at Columbia Kraft Field. As we see the stats from the first half, there were a lot of turnovers as expected with these conditions by both teams, but Gridlock just able to put in the disc more often on those turns from the Austin Torch O-line. What, if anything, did you notice from the first half, Judy?
That 20 break chances number is really pretty delicious for Gridlock and very frustrating, I'm sure, for Austin Torch, who's not want to give them any opportunity. And also just the contrast that Gridlock is only giving Torch, only gave them 5. It is impressive that Torch was still able to get a break, got 1 up on the board out of those 5, but still a lot of defensive excellence from Gridlock in this game.
Discraft. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. This broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League.
All right, we're about to have the pull up in the second half. And the story to me here, James, is that Gridlock cannot get cocky and they cannot get sloppy. So when you're starting a half 13-6, you're in front of your home crowd, you're feeling pretty good, but that can sometimes turn into a sort of slowing down the pace, reducing the urgency. And so it'll be interesting to see if Gridlock can keep their spirits high and their throws high percentage.
Absolutely. Cartagena, and just unfortunately a little bit too high for Tulsa Douglas there, perhaps affected by these conditions. DeJesus on the mark, marking Esparza, who finds her receiver, number 8, Mindy Radike. Big backhand swing, and the Torch receiver just unable to get there. A lot of pressure there from Amy Zhao on the near sideline.
What a great effort from Annie Ortiz, though. That was a hard disc to bring down. And we have another loping one in the middle of the field, but Gridlock's able to keep it.
Zhao with the disc. Looks upfield. And a big forehand flick to Emily Barrett, who brings it back to her club teammate, Jenny DeJesus. DeJesus looking for an option, finds one in Douglas on the same sideline, directly back to DeJesus in a 10-yard space. 2 of them going back and forth for that score.
Ooh-wee, and who set it up was Janine Halavity, who we have heard a lot about this game. So she had no hesitation in putting up that flick huck despite the wind. So we're going to see again that great attempt and great pressure. Here's Lavity's huck to Barrett. And quick movements from DeJesus. Thinks about passing it to Barrett, takes her time, gets it back to Tulsa Douglas, and says, come on, just pop it in here to the end zone for the goal.
Lavity's throw, that huck also angled to cut through the wind in these conditions. You know that these throwers and these players have to make all the adjustments that they need to make sure that they can keep playing not only their underneath game, but also their deep game as well.
And DeJesus's decision making there, is a counter to my caution about getting too cocky. So when you're feeling really confident, you're just going to throw that to Emily Barrett and just think whatever, she's going to get it. But DeJesus saw Torch had a good mark on her. This is not a good decision, and holstered it. So that bodes well for Gridlock if they're going to make that kind of decision making in the second half.
Gridlock coming out here in not a person D, but it looks like what was a zone perhaps has collapsed now into a person. Torch player calling for what she wants in the cutting space. Big fake by Estes. Torch moving it amongst themselves. Sierra Rimmer, number 99, finds her teammate, Stedman, to Quina. Torch stringing together several passes on this, and just as I say that, commentators curse. Brittany Kaplan with a big throw to Stasi Tangerlini, able to bring that in, looks for help. Wisen on the far sideline, finds Abby Cheng, who lays out and just not able to bring that in.
Great effort from Cheng to try to toe in the disc there. But Torch gets it back and trying to work it the field.
Ooh, looks like what could have been a D. Seems like there's a foul call, no contest on that. Torch ready to check the disc back in on the front of their own end zone. Brittany Kaplan just a few yards away in that open space, looking to force this Torch offense, moving in a tight window. Still some discussion before they tap it in.
And Gridlock is back in the junk that's been really effective for them. So putting a lot of pressure on the throwers, making them throw long, wide distances.
.23 Jaeger now looking to throw and go. Looks like the disc is, wow, that upside down is able to find its receiver in Bjork. Looks like this Gridlock defense is almost trying to force them to the near sideline. Torch able to work against that flow and continue to move it. And a big throw by Torch. Upfield, could not find Jaeger, the intended receiver on that. Brittany Kaplan picks up, finds an open Anna Wisen, who then finds Cheng underneath. Stasi Tangerlini unable to bring that in. Seems like some sort of call on the field. Seems like that did not affect, and so Torch will tap it in on the far sideline. Stedman looking for an option. Finds Estes underneath. Looks like there was some sort of stoppage before that throw went up.
Getting a sense that people are getting a little tired down there, James. We're into the third quarter. There's been a lot of long points. We saw our graphic at the beginning of the half, how many turns there has been in this slightly windy weather. And so now we're kind of in a different dynamic, which is which team has the legs.
Absolutely. Stedman finds number 29, Rutledge. Torch continuing to move the disc now. Looks like the Gridlock defense is tight downfield. This Austin offense looking for something, anything, and it looks like some frustration there between Austin teammates. Gridlock about to pick it up, but for some discussion happening Perhaps a stoppage. Some discussion with the observer downfield as they step away.
May have been an injury substitution. Looks like 14 just came in. And Gridlock's going to see if they can work it down the field.
Tangerlini with a hard throw, unable to find Abby Chang, but also looks like a call by Chang on that catch. Chang stating her case to her defender, Rutledge.
We always like this part with the pantomime, everybody showing what they perceived, and then the players have the opportunity to go to observer or not. We'll see a replay.
Observer ruling is that it was no foul. All right? So we're going to give it a ground check live.
We're
here.
hearing the observers on mic right now, so you can kind of hear their rationale. They're saying there was no foul, so there can be contact, but if the disc has already been touched by someone, there's contact after, which is likely what happened here. It's a no foul call.
And Quina with the backhand, unable to find her receiver, Bjork. Gridlock again has this opportunity. Pepe back to Brittany Kaplan. Nikki Hare able to come up with that disc
What
from the
a
ground.
save, Nikki Hare.
Pepe now to Wisen, but even though there's discussion, it looks like that turnover might stand here. Austin with an opportunity yet again.
The athletes are looking a little weary here, so not surprised to see a timeout called by one of the teams.
Well-timed timeout.
Both teams trying to regroup here. Each have had good chances, but both teams have had some throwaway hucks that when the when the wind is forcing you to be more precise, but you're in the third quarter, your lungs are at capacity, these discs get harder to catch than the first quarter, where we saw some great grabs, great positioning, because people are 100% ready to go. So if you were, coaching one of these huddles, James, what do you think you'd be focusing on as we see, a replay of the Hare save? Happy to see that again.
Yeah, so with this timeout, you have to imagine that, first of all, coaches are just trying to give their players just a little bit of time to catch their breath, to dig deep, and to mentally to check back in, to be able to keep working hard to try to put this in for a score for your team. It's not always going to be pretty, but that's the job.
Sometimes you got to grind.
Esparza with the disc and power position finds an underneath throw to teammate Kerry Yonks. Back to Esparza. Esparza with the backhand. Reset. Lou to Esparza again. Back to Lou. Tracy Lum with an active mark there. Cutting off the backhand, and a disc going up. Gridlock defenders able to converge.
Gridlock sandwich. Looked like Sieber and Kowalski working together to make sure Torch didn't have a chance on what was a really great put to the end zone.
Gridlock with fantastic shutdown defense there, both downfield as well as around the disc to earn that D. Becky Malinowski on the far sideline to Aki Young. Throws a backhand up over the stack.
Gridlock's off to the races.
Lum with another big throw. Aki Young without a player within yards. Bobbles it for a second, but brings it in for the Gridlock score.
What a great on-field motion by Aki Young. So like a speedy athlete that she is, she threw a big swing. First, we'll see replays earlier of a great team defensive effort by Kowalski and Sieber. Then Aki floats it to Sydney Harris. Meanwhile, Aki is sprinting down the field and ready for Tracy Lum's floater right back to her. Love that focus to stay, keep the disc in, smiling as she catches it. Great possession for Aki Young.
Absolutely, and even though Kowalski had that D together with Sieber in the end zone, that's what many in football would call a coverage stack, with the entire defense doing their part to shut down all of their respective offensive players, force the offense to throw up a disc that Gridlock is able to defend and turn into a score.
And we see coaches Eileen Murray, Martha Gregory on the sideline there. Also shout out to Zara Cadu, John Reynolds, and Ryan Thompson, a 5-person coaching team on Gridlock who's worked hard with this squad. Meanwhile, shout out to Austin Walker, coach of the Austin Torch, here by himself with the same first name as the team that he coaches. Pretty cool.
Torch with their opportunity here. Finds that reset to Bjork. Big throw and upside down to number 42, Meg Duffy.
And the crowd likes it, James. We can hear them. We're high up in the press booth amongst, I think that was just actually a crane that flew by. That was very cool. But anyways, we can hear the crowd who loved it when that hammer went up. Ooh-wee. The crowd got fired up for 42, Meg Duffy to make the catch. Let's see that hammer again. Was that Bjork throwing that up? All right, we've learned something about number 2, Elise Bjork, that she is all about hammer under pressure, and good ones too.
These sorts of conditions, those sorts of throws can be risky, but if that's something you have underneath your belt and are confident about, then why not?
And that makes me feel good about, Austin Torch's state of mind here, right? So you could have this score 15-7, you could be down by this many. Feel pretty bad, but Bjork, Let's take a look back at Bjork's other hammer goal. Just excellent form, excellent positioning, and here it is again. So we know this is no accident. We know this is part of Bjork's arsenal, and we love to see it.
We'd like to take a quick second here to thank Slate Milk for refueling their athletes. All natural, high protein, lactose-free chocolate milk. The perfect post-game snack served up in cans.
Gridlock already 2/3 of the way down the field on their offensive possession. Hey, we haven't seen these folks for a while.
Cartagena with the disc finds Halavity underneath. Halavity to Barrett. Thinks about it, but chooses to swing it back to Halavity. Back to Nina. Oh, and Yeager with that fingertip D.
Nice, really nice, because that was going right to Douglas for the score on that beautiful swing from Finley, but great defense from Torch. And now an effort for them to get the break.
DK with the big backhand swing to Rutledge. Rutledge releases that just a little bit too high. No call on that.
You just hate to see it. I just hate those turns where no one's around, no defender was doing anything. It's just a missed throw and giving Gridlock a huge advantage.
Cartagena's pivots just so textbook with a long lunge to make sure that the defender, oh wow, that throw does not find its intended receiver, and Torch is going to have yet another opportunity for DK picking up.
And we'll see a replay of DeJesus's inside flick, just a little too speedy for Barrett to be able to grab. We're seeing a lot of bullet discs thrown in this game, which makes sense for the wind, where you're trying to slice through it harder, but sometimes it can also mean a turnover. Too much pace.
Ooh, that Torch receiver able to come up with it. Duffy finds a reset, but looks like some sort of call on the field.
People are, oh, some turnover. Oh, maybe it was an out of bounds? Not clear, but.
An immediate deep shot does not find a receiver. Torch again with an opportunity.
So this is a time when both teams need to really dig down into their mental game. So all of these athletes are in peak shape. You know, they can run with the best of them. So they've been running each other down all game.
Whoa, and whoa, Amy Zhou just not able to get there. Caught by Levin. And there is a score for Austin Torch, 8-15.
Was number 14, Emma Berrigan, who ran down the field. So speaking of digging deep, finding it even when you're exhausted, Berrigan able to follow on that incredible grab. So first we see Douglas put up a huck, but it's out of bounds pretty early after the throw. So Torch has his possession at about half field. And that's Elise Bjork again, ripping it. Joe thought she might have had it, but no. The disc was caught by Sarah Levin and dink it into her teammate. They do favor the kick spike, I'm seeing, James.
They absolutely do. You know, it looked like Zhou had a hand on that at the same time as Sarah Levin, but Levin just able to wrench that disc away. If that disc were to come to a discussion, it would go to the receiver. Slev decides to preempt that by yanking it away and putting it in for the Austin score.
All right, Torch is grooving a little bit right now. I'm ready. I'm ready for some, you know, it might be too far of a point differential for a comeback of score, but this is pride, you know, on New York's home field. Torch would like to make a statement now.
Gravity with the disc underneath. Moves it upfield to DeJesus with the huge pivots, earning the respect of her mark. To Tulsa Douglas up the field. Also thinks about that forehand. Looking for an option. Still can't find one with a buttery inside flick break. Gridlock now using the entire width of the field. DeJesus with the score.
And we're seeing Gridlock offense just think another couple of seconds before making their first decision. So they're still moving the disc quickly, but you're seeing that adjustment. So Douglas allows a couple things to happen before she swings it across. Cartagena, a fake, and make sure that DeJesus is really open before putting that in. And the Cartagena-DeJesus connection is a thing of beauty that we've seen throughout this season. These two players playing together for the first time this season. Cartagena coming over from Revolution, which was one of the original Premier Ultimate League teams that has moved on to other things in Colombia, have a professional league in Colombia, so the team is not in the PUL. And that meant Cartagena, Elizabeth Mosquera were available and took Gridlock's call to be on this team. Mosquera not on the field tonight. Not sure all the circumstances, wondering if it's some kind of injury, but Cartagena has been a huge difference maker for Gridlock this season.
Also, Aki Young coming over to Gridlock from that Revolution squad. Mendieta with the disc on the near sideline. Looks like Gridlock is ready to put on a cup or some sort of zone defense. Tankerlini over to remove that seal. Gridlock with the D. Torch able to cut it through. Wide open space here. Running on, Kara Sieber in perfect position to get to that disc first.
It's such a good effort from Torch. They got through. They were working it so well. But Sieber shut down those hopes, and now she's working with Malinowski in the last third of the field.
With 3 seconds remaining, Gridlock looking to put this disc in to end this quarter. Gridlock can now play patient if that's what they want to do. Kowalski looking for an option. Goes with the lefty flip to Tangerlini. Malinowski with a big backhand fake back to Tangerlini. Sees Wisen. To Malinowski. Back to Tangerlini, but some sort of call before that. Disc will go back.
Tangolini gets open, but maybe not that open. I think we knew something was up. Just a lot of patient throws from Gridlock.
Tangolini looking for an option. Wyson with the close reset cut. Tangolini goes with the inside and unable to bring it in as Pepe, and that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. New York 16, Austin 8.
Austin was playing some great defense in that end zone possession there. So they are still alive and kicking, showing what they can do. And we are going to take a break and be back for quarter 4.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League.
Hello, everybody. We're about to start the fourth quarter of the game of Austin Torch versus New York Gridlock. This is Judy Jarvis and James Kim in the booth. We're seeing here the standings, and you can see here the 3 divisions, Midwest, South, 3 regions. They all have a set number 1, so Strike, Radiance, and Shadow are all going to championship weekend. And the important thing about this weekend, it's going to determine who gets the wild card bid. So Gridlock is facing Austin Torch tonight. Philadelphia Surge is facing Austin Torch tomorrow. So what Gridlock needs to do to finish out this game is score as many points as possible, because Philadelphia Surge tomorrow is going to try to beat Austin by a bigger point differential than here as they battle for the wild card. So James, what do you think? What could Gridlock do to get more on the board and make sure there's no more breaks from Austin Torch?
Yeah, so this Gridlock offense has been able to put the disc in when they've had the opportunities. Gridlock offense has not been on the field very much in the second half. They will have to continue to keep the pressure on for this Austin offense and not let their foot off the gas pedal in making pressure, forcing turnovers, and then putting the disc in after the turn.
And the Gridlock junk defense has been very effective at getting turns that are pretty close to Gridlock's end zone. So if it were me coaching out there, I would be junking it up and trying to get that turn and fast braking without being rushed. Trying to get, it's possible Gridlock could get to 20 here. And so if they could have, a 10-point differential, they're putting a lot of pressure on Philadelphia to have a really good game.
And Judy, can you talk a little bit more about selection for the wild card spot? I know you said that point differential is important, but how exactly is that determined?
Yes, so it is not only point differential. A number of things are considered. There's actually a committee on the Premier Ultimate League that will make this decision. And what is very intriguing is that Surge has beat Gridlock head-to-head, but Gridlock has beat DC, who Surge lost to, so there's a lot of factors they'll be taking into account. And the pull is up.
Torch with the disc around midfield. With the big backhand, ooh, definitely some contact there. There's going to be a discussion. You see it happening now between Estes and Joe. looks like a look of some surprise on SD's face. Looks like a good opportunity to bring in the observer.
On contact, I had no idea that you were there. And all I know is I got smacked in the air and I'm down.
I feel like I was in this space first and I basically jumped straight on.
Okay, you're bringing it to me.
I
The observer ruling is that that is a foul. This is going to stay with white.
All right, we could hear some of the conversation there, the way that players figure it out, either with or without the observer. And a foul is called. Estes gets to keep the disc.
Can understand both sides' position on that. You can hear Estes saying that she had no idea that the defender was going to come in. Joe looking to hit the disc specifically only, and Torch able to. Sarah Levin brings that disc in for the score.
What a great read from Levin. That was a hard disc to catch, kind of backing away and trying not to fall off balance. The defender very close. So excellent receivership there. And Lev has been a strong player throughout this Austin Torch season. Let's see it again. Just in position enough to make sure Sieber, a very talented defender, can't squeeze in there and tap their disc. So Torch has another one on the board, and the Gridlock O-line is out here now.
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank Match Fit Performance. Match Fit Performance is happy to be providing another season of sports performance and rehabilitation services to New York Gridlock. From the sidelines to the gym and back onto the field, owners Rena and Irwin are dedicated to helping athletes come back from injury and continue to excel in their sports. They offer individualized training plans, private and small group training, and team strength conditioning sessions. Check them out on Instagram at MatchFitPerformance. Torch able to put that goal in just a few seconds coming into the fourth quarter. You know that that's exactly what they need in this game. Cartagena pick up the disc. Mark Madrid Barza thinks forehand, also thinks backhand, goes with the backhand. Douglas back to Cartagena.
Looks like there might have been a pull play that didn't go through with the side stack there, but Gridlock offense has recovered and just working it another way.
It's Gridlock offense. And Douglas, a big backhand throw over the entire stack onto the receiver, JT Barrett.
Tulsa Douglas loves to thread a good hucking needle. I don't know if that's a phrase, but you could just see the calculation of where she wants to put it, and she's gonna place it so well.
And that's the kind of throw, that backhand over the stack, that as a coach, you know, I can't say that I've ever coached one of my players to throw that, but you understand that as these players develop these skills and develop that game awareness and IQ, they know that that's something that they can convert, and Douglas does there for the score.
And speaking of ultimate IQ, what Douglas was probably taking into account there is the distance that Barrett had from her defender. So seeing, if I can get this over the stack, Emily Barrett's gonna catch this, and just makes it easy on her. She's a receiver's dream. She's just gonna place it in front of you. Floating pancake.
Gridlock D-line out here. We have Neves, Chang, and Meyer running down this hole. 95 Mendieta being marked by 88 Nikki Hare. To Estes on the far sideline, being marked by Kim Meyer. Torch able to keep that disc up.
Great save.
Second backhand to the near sideline, using the entire width of the field. And an easy D and drop. Looks like maybe there's some discussion of maybe whether Kim Meyer had retained possession of that and then chose to drop it, perhaps giving possession back. Not sure what the exact call is here.
Let's take a look. All right, so the question is, did Kim Meyer stop rotation and catch the disc and possess it and then drop it, therefore it would be a turnover? Or did she bat it down? It looks like it's the latter that she did, and even in the slow-mo that was sort of clear that she didn't fully clamp the disc.
Kowalski tries to catch that disc on the up line, but unable to. 33 just gives it right back. Stedman, Kowalski has his chance again. To Cartagena, wisely looks to swing the disc all the way around. This hangs up in the air just a tad bit for Sieber, who's able to come down with it.
Oh, great defense from Torch to get that turnover. They're fired up.
Who else but 13? Julia Schmaltz.
Looks like there might be an injury. Looks like Tulsa Douglas is walking off the field, unfortunately. Using both of her legs, so that's a good sign. Oh no, it's Abby Chang. The visor was psyching me out. Luckily, Abby looks like in good spirits, so hopefully nothing too serious there. And Torch is right on their end zone line.
Mendieta to Stedman, back to Mendieta to Stedman. And a hammer up over the entire stack. Torch able to convert that goal all the way to the back of the end zone.
You know what they say, if it ain't broke, keep throwing hammers.
That
If you scored on 2, why not score on a 3rd? I see it. That was awesome. Let's take a look at that. Great hammer. That was somebody new this time. Stedman throwing the hammer, not Bjork, but clearly they train together, have some of the same vision, and just realizing that in the wind sometimes making sure that your receiver is going to have more time to run onto the disc. The hammer has a predictable arc in a way that, you know, some of these slicing pucks have been harder to read, harder to catch with more pace from the wind. So I like it. And I know there's viewers at home that are very pro hammer who are going to really appreciate this game. You throw hammers, James?
I throw nothing but hammers. Gridlock O-line here, ready to receive. Pull from Esparza. Disc rolling towards the middle of the field. Douglas to Cartagena. Finds De Jesus with plenty of space. Being forced under by her receiver. Jesus with the backhand. Oh, that choice of the floating backhand, perhaps giving the Torch defender a little bit of enough time needed to get to that disc. Esparza ready to pick up on the 30.
Gridlock is back in their zone-y defense.
Glavity content to bring in to clog that open side. Now on the mark. Torch throws it up. Douglas able to read it the whole way and knock it down. Cartagena trying to say what she wants and says, what a perfect throw to wide open, perhaps too open, Emily Barrett.
Pick calls means the people are going back and the disc is going back.
Just gets checked back in. Joe to her teammate, well, to her friend, Jenny De Jesus, for the score.
And a very smooth offensive possession for Gridlock there. Getting it in, not too long on the clock, which is what they want to do here. So they are trying to add points to the board. They want that Premier Ultimate League wild card committee to pick them. Here's Joe's inside break throw again to De Jesus. And that was a catch under pressure, let's just say. De Jesus often makes things look easy that are very hard for regular people.
He absolutely does.
Let's see, the sister and the scorer there together, as James said, good friends, and I think that's what you see on Gridlock and no doubt true on Austin too, just a lot of trust built between teammates. So On both teams, many play on club teams together. So we have the New York Bent, women's ultimate, women non-binary ultimate team in New York City that many Gridlock players play on. Also exists a mixed team that, you know, the biased person in me must say that I'm part of the coaching team. And so I always love to see the Exist players rocking out. And same with the Austin Torch. Many of them play together in women's and mixed clubs. So they spent a lot of time playing Ultimate together, and you can often see it play out on the field.
Torch with the big forehand flick to almost directly to Sam Harris. Makes some contact with the receiver behind them.
It was a great read from Sam Harris.
Aki Young to Malinowski, back to Aki. Angelini with the disc. With the lefty flip to Douglas. Douglas to Malinowski with lots of space. Malinowski content to Douglas with the throw upfield. Aki Young with the great grab. And with the feet, Sam Harris. What a score! The Torch player is pumped for that too.
Sam Harris with the bookends. They got the defensive block all the way back on the other side of the field. The crowd is loving it. I saw a few people with Harris jerseys in the crowd tonight. The huck goes up to Torch. Sam Harris says, no, 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 no. I'm going to get that two-handed block catch. And then they're able to tow it in. Sam Harris, your skill set is quite broad. Well done.
Bookends also on that play.
And like you said, Austin Torch even had to give them credit. You know, game sees game, right? Sometimes you're in these intense matchups, incredible athletes everywhere. You just have to give respect of that was a great play.
That's the great thing about Ultimate, as we heard from Commissioner Dallas during halftime, just the camaraderie that these players share on the field. They are more friends than enemies, all of them.
But you also have to turn it up, you know? It's that thing where you're on the sideline, you share a sideline, you're amongst each other all the time. And so it is a balance of, you know, you want to be sportsmanlike, but you also really want to win, you know? So that is, I think, the beautiful balance that Ultimate often has.
Mendieta. Now Lou to Esparza. Far sideline. Kim Meyer on the mark, and Torch turns the disc again. Tankerlini doesn't hesitate to pick up. Kowalski looking for something.
Great slam down D by Nikki Hare. Because with the wind here, you know, you tap it, it could keep going.
Just a little bit too far for Seaburg. Torch picking up the disc, going the full 80. Mendieta looks inside break, just not to throw that. Goes back to it, to Esparza, who doesn't hesitate. Throws that throw.
Oh! Tagliani says nope.
Kowalski with the disc. Sounds like a stoppage, and will be a timeout by this Gridlock offense. Just needs a second to talk about it, maybe have a sip of water, figure out how to put this score in.
It's interesting, in this game we haven't seen a lot of, you know, full line changes on timeouts. So in the DC Shadow Gridlock game, the Gridlock especially was using timeouts to put in a totally different squad. Whereas in this game, it's more, okay, let's see what, you know, retool the strategy. But as I say that, I think now they've done it here. It looks like they're bringing in their O-line, which is more typical of their last game. Now that they have possession, D-line did all that work. O-line's gonna get all that glory. But that's how it goes sometimes.
A lot of opportunities for both teams in this game. Lots of possessions, lots of turnovers. In a game perhaps with more ideal conditions, perhaps less wind, you might see more holds by teams and more of a necessity for a team to perhaps put in their O-line on a defensive possession.
You're right, we've seen very few clean holds from either team. I think we had a graphic up early, I believe it was 4 or 5 Gridlock clean holds, maybe 3 Austin Torch holds. Very low numbers for a high-scoring game. Just showing you how much back and forth there's been.
Douglas with the deep throw to Hecht, could not get there in time. Torch with another chance.
Uncharacteristic of Douglas to not have a perfect huck to her receiver.
Cartagena on the looks to pick up a offensive player, looks to be defending a space. Gridlock with this opportunity, easy flip there to Halavity for the score.
Douglas got her revenge in the end. Made sure to pick up that disc really quickly. Really had no mark and could see Halavity coming down to dink it in. And we see a great D from Nina Finley, just getting a hand in there just enough. And then what I love, Finley then makes space. So Finley's a handler and could have easily picked up the disc there and started off, but just that teammateship of knowing I'm gonna pull my defender further back allowed Douglas to be totally unmarked for that throw.
Absolutely, that's the sort of thing that in other sports you might see the person who got that D try to perhaps get that goal directly back, but as you said, Nina, knowing that the position she was in, better to pull the defenders away and help her team put that into the score.
This 2010 score, not gonna feel good to Austin. They recently did this to another team, so they beat Atlanta Soul 24-11, as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast. So really interesting to see in the same league, we might have, one team just totally wallop another and then come get walloped by another team. That's what's so exciting about having 12 PUL teams now, is we really have a lot of different narratives to watch for, a lot at stake for each team, and you just don't know going into a game how it's going to play out.
As they say, you got to play the games. Stedman pointing for what she wants. Throws, goes upfield. Looks like a travel, immediately tapped back in. Centered back to Wilson. To Mendieta. Throws an inside flick. Schmaltz with an incredible effort to catch that. And looks like that is a score for Austin Torch.
Oh my goodness, we need a replay to see the toe. Just 2 blades of grass in from the end zone line there. So Mendieta points, please, over here, Schmaltz. And it looks like Schmaltz gets her left foot down first and able to tap it in. Let's see it from this perspective. What they say is the press booth, one more look. The press booth may have questions about the right foot timing and the left foot timing, but you know what? All trust and respect to our observers, Chris Vanny, Dylan Bradford, and Sam Piro. They were there, they saw it, they called Schmaltz in on a great grab. So the last throws of the 4th quarter of this matchup against Austin Torch and New York Gridlock. Gridlock is still highly motivated to score as much as they can, so they are not trying to slow down the pace at all. And at this point, Torch is playing for pride. This is likely, this is the second to last game of their season. And so as teammates, they want to show each other what they can do in these last minutes.
Cartagena with the disc and a backhand. My goodness, so that was a backhand that it's hard to tell if was that intentional, Judy?
I think so. I think Cartagena does what Cartagena wants, and it usually works out. I'm actually very surprised Joe didn't catch it, who's such a talented receiver. But yeah, a full cross field, backhand, inside out. I mean, just a lot was going on, but Joe couldn't bring it down. It's a tough angle.
Fast throw by the Austin thrower does not find the receiver.
Well, we've been seeing a lot of points like this tonight where there's not a clean hold by Gridlock, but they quickly get the disc back and are able to score on the second possession and the third possession pretty quickly. So the Cartagena, Joe discussing the angle of the disc, no doubt, doing the post-mortem there, but Joe got it in the end. Let's see this pretty amazing throw. I think if there hadn't been a defender there, so it looks like Joe was trying to box out the person and had to spend some energy there. But then Cartagena gets it back on the turn to Douglas, and an easy open side forehand to Joe.
For that throw by Cartagena, that backhand, that was an incredible amount of spin and wrist flick to get that from the backhand side all the way to the right side of the field. One of those throws that, as a thrower, I just look at and think, I've got to add that to my bag.
Cartagena is almost in a class of her own in terms of handler skill. I mean, that she just threw a backwards S across the field, essentially, and it was a pretty viable throw in the scheme of things. Something I love about her play is she's extremely bold, but she makes very few errors. I mean, we have hardly, maybe that's her first error of the game, right?
Tracy Lum with the D. Opportunity for Gridlock. Kowalski looking for something, finds Neves in the middle of the field. Back to Lum. Indicating to her teammates that she wants underneath cuts. Malinowski with the one-handed underneath grab. Looking for another option. Ooh. So that looked like a timeout called right before Neves and Young went for that disc at the same time. Both of them having a little bit of a laugh about it. Looks like it will stay there to come back in after this timeout.
Gridlock is pretty pumped up right now. They are starting to have some fun out there. Let's go to a quick break.
Spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Gridlock timeout. Checks back in with Cartagena on the disc. Backhand to Douglas, another backhand to Joe, using the entire width of the field. Gridlock making fantastic use of the space widthwise, going from left to right. Douglas looking for an option. Thinks about the Jesus, and instead goes all the way straight to Nina Finley in the back of the end zone for another Gridlock score.
You know, we're getting a little show put on by the Gridlock handlers right now, just showing us what they can do. Look, we can swing it. Look, we can be patient. And Tulsa zinging it into Finley. And Jesus is a sort of decoy, you know, and looking like, and Jesus is a very dangerous, you know, end zone cutter, so it makes sense that eyes are on her in front of the end zone. That allowed Finley to be pretty open. Schmaltz making an attempt later, but Douglas able to. They have now tipped over into 21. Let's talk about one of the impact players in this game. Emily Barrett has been just relentless. We're going to see some clips of her just getting the job done. Quick release. Just like, give it back. I'm right here. Making quick quick work of defenders on the sideline, whether she's flicking it herself or receiving beautiful hucks from her teammates. Garrity's usually locked in on the end zone, having a great game tonight.
Austin picking up the disc here around the 30. About 3 minutes left in this game. Triple throws up the backhand side to flick on the backhand side. Torch looking to continue to move the disc up the field. Almost finds a Gridlock receiver, but Torch able to continue to keep it moving. Lou finds Jensen and Abby Chang right there. Wisen cranks that, finds Sam Harris, about 10, 11 yards short of the end zone. Abby Chang, oh, just a little bit short.
Great motion from Gridlock to come up the field, just a little bit too far. Harris's put to Chang.
Lou throws that forehand up to her teammate, Jensen. Jensen being marked by Hare. Harris on the mark. This Torch offense trying to move this disc up the field.
This is what Torch needed in the first half. This is some great motion, making their defense work hard.
Stall count rising. Needs something. Throws up a forehand. Into space, Sam Harris with the easy job there of only having to worry about the disc. Make sure that that does not find the hands of an Austin receiver.
See that again here. The loping puck is just out of bounds and not possible for the Torch player to toe it in with the pressure of Sam Harris there.
Tangerlini with the lefty flip to Wisen, who cranks it yet again. Could not find a receiver. Able to get a big throw all the way down the field. Less than a minute to go for this Torch team.
Wisen has had some great rips this game. That might have been one to, make space get down the field, or just excitement for Kim Mayer. But it looks like we might have a call here on the play.
Looks like the Torch receiver is calling a foul on Tangerlini. Talking primarily about body position on this, as there wasn't a ton of contact. We'll see that again.
We're hearing the observer's assessment that Tangerlini had position, so there was contact, but it wasn't a foul. She had position. And the Torch player couldn't play her. So that means it's a turnover.
Fantastic to hear the input of these observers down there on the field. Always helpful for the viewers who wouldn't be able to understand the conversations on the field otherwise.
And it's interesting, most of the calls tonight have gone to observers. So there haven't been a lot of calls, but quite a number of the foul calls have gone to an observer, which is interesting. It's neither good nor bad, but we're seeing it again. It looks like there's further discussion. Maybe another observer had a different angle.
Doesn't look like Tangerlini actively or intentionally makes contact with the receiver there.
Looks like number 8 is coming behind, reaching behind after being boxed out.
And it looks like they are going to an alternative form of dispute resolution here.
Only an ultimate. I want to see football starting using Rochambeau. Let's go.
I didn't even see the result of that rock paper scissors. I'll be honest. Tangerlini with the inside misses 2 receivers. Torch to tap this disc in at the front of their own end zone.
Rock paper scissors was too hot to handle. When she did that, she couldn't refocus.
Oof, and a throw again a little bit too far for Abby Chang. Abby Chang hitting the ground, making the effort, could not bring that in.
this is a time that Gridlock can't waste, so they're happy to see that D from Sam Harris. They need to get these points on the board. Surge is a very talented team, and they are also going to be able to, put up a lot of points against Austin, I would presume. And Gridlock needs to make sure they have more.
Kaplan finds Tangerlini. Tangerlini finds, unfortunately, the torch player. Lou moves it up the forehand side. And that will be the game. That is Gridlock 22, Austin 11. What a game.
Ton of athleticism, a ton of exciting points in this game. Gridlock did what they needed to do to still have a chance at the wild card, and Austin brought it with some particularly excellent performances by players like Jamie Estes, Julia Schmaltz, Elise Bjork. A lot for their team to be proud of as this game wraps up. But Gridlock getting to celebrate this big win at home.
Get a view of the crowd here up at Kraft Field in Columbia as both teams in their high-five lines.
And tomorrow, the whole of Gridlock is going to be biting their nails watching the Surge and Torch game, and you too, viewers, should watch and tune into that great game. We'll take one final look at the standings to see what is at stake. It's down in that wild card. Is it Surge or is it Gridlock? Surge has won the head-to-head against Gridlock. Gridlock beat DC Shadow, who beat Surge. We have that snake eating the tail challenge, and they're both playing Austin Torch this weekend. I know I will be tuning in tomorrow. James, will I be seeing you in the chat on the live stream too?
Absolutely, Judy. I'll be in there as at NYC Goldie, not my name, but it will be a tough decision for this committee to figure out that last wild card spot, as you said. Taking a look here at the Gridlock and Austin recap. What did you think, Judy?
I'm loving these highlights. I want to see our daytime shots, so some really great defense by Schmaltz. We need to see the hammers again from Bjork. And Tracy Lum lofting up for Aki Young, who keeps her eye on the prize for the face catch. This has been a game full of athleticism and excitement. It has been a pleasure being here with you. Judy Jarvis and James Kim signing out. Thank you all, and good night.